Let's talk about this. Are you risking a life of unfulfilled potential by ignoring your emotions? Do you even realize the cost of putting others first and neglecting your dreams? Are you prepared to seize the power of emotional intelligence for a brighter future? Well, welcome, Sophisticate. I'm Davina Dandridge. Today, we explore the critical role of emotional intelligence in shaping your destiny. Ignoring it can lead to missed opportunities and lifelong regret, but mastering it can reveal unparalleled success and happiness. There are certain things that you need to consider. One of them is like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Why do you wake up every morning? I mean, what is the motivation? What is the impetus for you even getting out of bed, getting dressed, doing the things that you're supposed to do for a successful life, but you feel like you're on a hamster wheel because you've been doing the same thing for so long and it doesn't seem like you're going anywhere? Well, there are a couple of points that I want to discuss today that you need to consider when you are trying to find your life's purpose. And if you don't find your life's purpose, it might not just fall into your lap. And I think a lot of people think too deeply when they say, well, I don't know what my purpose is, what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm telling you, your purpose has been with you all of your life. You may even have been already operating in your purpose, but because you haven't taken the steps to find out what your purpose is for sure, you haven't developed the mindset or the plan to actually help you live in your purpose. I mean, other people are living in their purpose. I'm living in my purpose. Now, let me just say this. You might not have it all flushed out. You might not know every single thing you're going to do, but there is something inside of you that is driving you, something that you think about all the time, something that means so much to you that you can't even explain it to other people where they get that same enthusiasm. That's your purpose. Well, here, let's get right into it. No need to just keep belaboring that point. What I want to do is give you some steps, give you a way to start thinking differently so that you can live in your purpose and have fulfillment in your future self. Okay, so the first thing is to consider the cost of ignoring your emotional compass, of that still small voice inside of you that's leading you and guiding you, that's giving you a certain type of feeling or evoke a certain type of emotion when you are in a particular situation, especially when you are doing something that you love or something that is meaningful for you. Okay, because without it, you might feel lost. And you definitely are going to feel unsure of your path because you haven't taken the time to contemplate it. You know, there's a thing that I call either faith or fail. And I can recall a time most recently where I really had to think about, am I operating in faith or am I concentrating on failure? Because it's either one of the two things. So the reason why I say faith in failure is important for finding your purpose is because you have to believe that you are worthy, number one, and capable, number two, of doing the thing that you're dreaming about doing. I know for a long time, I had imposter syndrome. I thought that the things that I wanted to do were just things that I thought that most people wanted to do, but I wasn't thinking of it as being something special or something that I could actually develop right now, not sometime way off in the future, 30 years from now, 20 years from now, because let me tell you, the days, the years, they keep moving. So whether I took action or not, I had to apply either faith or thoughts of failure. And the failure is what kept me thinking that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't the person to do that. But once I started developing the attitude of faith toward the ability to do those things and those things that I wanted to do really resonating with what I believe my purpose was, then I started building up my faith. The scripture says it so plainly. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's from Proverbs 23, verse 7. And this really resonates with today's topic of empowering yourself to pursue the purpose of your life and really just even identifying the purpose, because you might not even have done that yet. So, if you embrace emotional intelligence and open the door to a life of fulfillment and beauty, you can have the life that you deserve, the life that you desire, and you can curate it yourself. And you do that by beginning to incorporate daily habits that really push you toward that person that you are going to be in the future as you are pursuing your purpose. Okay. So, one of them is deep breathing exercises. And what deep breathing exercises do is they enhance your self awareness, and you can get emotional control if you're aware of where you are. I always talk about being a triggered responder or an emotional planner. When something is triggering you, taking a couple of deep breaths to really assess where you are, and then taking the step to control your emotions is paramount for you being in a place where you can then start thinking about what your purpose is. A lot of times we don't get an opportunity to do that because we don't prioritize ourselves. And that's something that we really need to do as women, as mothers, as people who really are pursuing a life that we think is the life that we're supposed to pursue. And I say that we think is the life that we're supposed to pursue because if we haven't identified what our purpose is, we are not living in the life that we're supposed to pursue. The question remains, what happens when you don't prioritize yourself? What happens when you don't make your needs important? And I'm not saying that you negate your responsibility, but I'm saying, you can split your focus. Your focus doesn't always just have to be on being a good mom or being a good partner or wife or doing well at work. You can think about what it is that you want, because otherwise you might end up feeling undervalued and unfulfilled. And when you feel undervalued and unfulfilled, then you lose your voice. And your voice could be the voice that you're talking to yourself, that you deserve self-care. You deserve a moment of peace so you can contemplate about what your next step is or what it is that you really want out of life. Remember, you alone are enough. Okay. So you don't have to get feedback from everybody about what you should be doing or what your desires should be or what your purpose should be in life. I mean, you do have to consider other people, but what I am talking about is what do you want to do, and building yourself up to know that you are worthy to do and have these things and that you are enough and worthy to be capable of them is something that you need to explore. There's a quote by Maya Angelou that says, "You have nothing to prove to anybody." Nothing to prove to anybody. So, what someone else's plans for your life are doesn't factor in right here. By focusing on yourself, you cultivate a life of elegance, a life of wellness and happiness. And you can implement a practice of setting boundaries and developing vulnerability to prioritize your well being. And there's nothing wrong with setting up boundaries. And the boundaries are not for everyone else necessarily. The boundaries are for you because you allow your environment to be created by your emotions. So your emotions dictate your thinking, and your thinking dictates your behavior, and your behavior sets up your environment. And your environment includes the things that you will take from other people, and I'm talking about the microaggressions at work or the abuse verbally or unintentional by some other people that are close to you. Not being heard makes you feel less than. You have to develop the idea that thinking of yourself benefits not just you, but the people you love and the people around you. So whether it's taking 5 minutes every day, Whether it's taking 20 minutes, a half an hour, working on your self-care and setting up those boundaries so you get that time for contemplation, and you need to do that, and you're worthy of doing that. And I say, if you don't do it, then you are letting time go by without you living or even knowing what your purpose is. And how does that add up to a life fulfilled? It doesn't. What I want you to think about is what happens if you don't imagine or you don't plan for your future self. If you do nothing to get you happiness and fulfillment in your future self, and your future could be next week, your future actually could be this afternoon or this evening. But I'm talking a little bit further out. What does your future self look like in 6 to 12 months? If you really took a moment to concentrate on what you want and then start planning for a way to even begin that process, you could be a totally different person, and you would need to be a totally different person in order to do the things that you're not currently doing. Because the way that you think right now and the actions that you've done have set up the environment where you are right now. So if where you are right now is not living in your purpose, then you are not yet the person who's ready to pursue. But I'm telling you, right after this video, you are the person if you just start thinking about imagining what your future should look like, what your future should contain, who should be in your future, what activities you should be doing, what you're even going to look like in your future, where you're going to shop in your future, where you're going to live in your future, how much money are you going to have in your future, and how much peace and fulfillment you can have in your future. But if you don't start imagining that, how are you going to work through it? How are you going to work through your emotions that you have right now to get to the place where you can start developing that life? If you don't start this imagination process, this could lead to a life of not being fully lived. You hear people talking about, if you were to die today and you look back over your life, what would you have accomplished? You know, that could be a sad proposition for some people. Because if all that they have done up to this point is live on an emotional roller coaster, not take ownership of their emotions, not even contemplate what they want in their life, how could they have contributed more? The Bible also says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." One of the major components of developing your future is hope. And hope comes from the belief that there is something more, there is something bigger, and that God is here to help us along the way. So he already has a plan for our future. All we have to do is maintain and develop our relationship with him so we get the wisdom and the direction that he is ready to give us. But if we'd only talk to him when something's going bad, we don't know his voice when we hear it, when he's instructing us to do what we need to do to get where we want to go, to have the future that we want to have. So we have to develop our relationship with God so that we can be in tune. And when things happen that wreck our emotions or shake us up a bit, we have the hope because we know that God has the plan for us. So we need to embrace this wisdom and align our purpose with our deepest desires, because God gives us the desires of our heart. And we can start that by doing several things today. And, you know, I've talked about this before. One thing that you can do is create a vision board. And what a vision board does is allows you to visualize and plan your future successes. If you don't ever see it, then how can you be it? Literally, and I'm not just trying to rhyme for the sake of rhyming, but really, if you never see yourself as beautiful in the nice clothes that you want, or you never imagine yourself taking the trip that you want to take, or you never imagine yourself being able to send your talented child to college, or you never imagine yourself being able to have a working vehicle. Those are things that you have to put in your mind so that you can have those things. And I'm telling you, a vision board works. It's not just something hokey. It works. I have done it in several ways. I've made a list of the things that I wanted. I have cut out pictures of the things that I wanted. And I've done it electronically by using Google Pictures and create a slideshow of the things that I wanted. And as I've said before, once I've done that and I look at it regularly, I start making plans. These things just start coming into my life to where at some point I can take those things off my vision board because they become my reality. So listen, I'm not just saying this. I want you to do it because I know that this works. So it's now your time to act. It's time for you to step into emotional intelligence, to step into fulfillment and sophisticated empowerment. You need that trifecta, right? Once you have stepped into your purpose and start working toward your purpose, you automatically get fulfillment. It's nothing more pleasing than doing something just for the simple fact that you want to do it. Like when my husband and I get to take a trip just because we want to take a trip, oh, that feels good. Now, we've been places and had to handle business or went for a different purpose and enjoyed it. But when we get a chance to just do it because we want to, that's fulfillment. And then as you start having more life experiences, you become more sophisticated in the way that things work. Your thinking becomes more sophisticated. The things that you want become more sophisticated. Even your vocabulary becomes more sophisticated. And all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge and sophistication empowers you to do more. So, yeah, this year you have a vision for a certain type of future person. But after you get to that future person, you start developing newer, greater, more grander desires than you had before. So, you know what? If this is you, if you see in Davina, I resonate with this idea that you're talking about the importance of using emotional intelligence and sophisticated empowerment to get to my purpose. If you're that person, then I say, join me in my sophisticated empowerment course. And, we can explore this more together and you can find out what your full potential is. You can start changing your mindset to where handling and managing your emotions and really navigating how you feel and how you participate in your life becomes a priority. And with that, you'll be living in your purpose and your future self will be thankful. So thank you for joining me in this journey of self-discoverment and empowerment. And remember, every step you take is a step towards a life of elegance and fulfillment. And if you found value in today's conversation and want to continue, exploring more of a path to sophisticated empowerment, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you'll be the first to receive insights and strategies that can transform your life. So until next time, keep working on it.